Okay, so on on the bench today, what we're going to do is going to go over some stuff I just recently got on in trade. So the AMD FX 6100 system that I just recently did a build on. I traded that. The guy offered me a trade. He said he had two desktops, a laptop, a keyboard, a mouse. Not this keyboard and mouse, right? We'll see. You'll see what keyboard and mouse I'll show you in a minute. And a laptop, obviously I got it in my hand, and a video card. So I was like, what items would you do for an even trade? And he said either he could do the two desktops. I don't know the specs on one of them. One of them was, the the SFX or whatever, the thin form factor ones. So I was like, okay. And he said he'd do the two laptops, or the two desktops, or the laptop and the video card and the keyboard and mouse. So it's like, okay, I'd be interested in the laptop. I didn't know if he was going to bring the keyboard and mouse and the video card still. I knew it was like an older video card. Couldn't really see the laptop that much. You can see it was on. So I got it. Everything looks kind of good from here, but right here's a little bent out. Let's see that. Oh, this freaking computer's in my way. But right here is somewhat bent out. You can see the gap in there. That'd be an easy fix. So I'm like, since I was having so many problems out of my laptop I had, my secondary laptop I have with the screen, and not either the guy I bought it from was lying, or they tested it and it worked for a second, because I got it to work for a second and it wouldn't. So I was like, oh, this could be my my primary laptop, and then I could just get rid of the other one. And it's like an 8-gen laptop. So then I was like, oh, that'd be fine, but it was pretty far in the picture, so it's kind of scratched up right here, really dirty. This key's in bad shape because it's backlit. Now see, it's set to turn on when you turn the lid on. It has Linux Mint on it. I don't know why. This is supposed to be a 10th gen. It's supposed to be a 10th gen i5 with 8 gigs of RAM and a 250 gig NVMe SSD. But it is kind of bent up right here too. And then over here is bent up too. I don't know if I can straighten this out or not, but we'll try. We'll remove the stickers. Hopefully there's nothing underneath it. It's little, there's a sticker there, and obviously it boots in. Another thing I did notice is it is a touchscreen. He didn't mention anything about a touchscreen, so like I said, it has Linux Mint on there. So touchscreen. Screen looks dirty. Hopefully this will clean up off of there. And it's working. I didn't charge it. Probably needs updates. Says it's at 32%. It's got 25 minutes remaining. Battery life doesn't matter to me that much. Hopefully I have another battery that will work for this in my battery collection. Not of bad laptops, but probably not, because it's a Dell. I do have a Dell battery that should work in it if this one isn't that good. But we'll go over the other trades, because I'm going to do a separate video of this once I'm done, installing. I'm going to go ahead and put Windows 11 Pro on this, because I'm going to redo it anyways. I'm going to keep Linux on it. And what I'm going to do too with that is I'm going to pull my RAM from my 8-gen laptop, because I have two 8 gig sticks. I'm going to put them two 8 gig sticks into this. And I'm going to pull in also my 512 NVMe I have in that one. It's going to go to this, so this 8 gigs in this one now, and this and this laptop now, the 8 gigs that are in here will go to the other laptop, and the NVMe that's in here will go to the other laptop. So I'm going to upgrade this to 16 gigs of RAM and a 512 gig NVMe, and what I consider my primary laptop now will be downgraded to a 556 gig NVMe and only 8 gigs of RAM. So then here is the other tray. It's not the best, but this will clean up. I'll clean all these up with with this, So there's one of the keyboards, the basic Dell keyboard. I need keyboards. And here's another basic Dell keyboard. And then what do I do with a mouse? And here is an over another Logitech. And obviously I have the Alienware set in here now. I did clean this slightly up because the heatsink was in pretty bad shape dust wise. You see some of the dust here, but I wasn't thinking about it. I was like, I'm just going to test this thing, no big thing. But I was like, I want one. Oh, and another thing before I forget. Yeah, and we do have the power cord. I haven't checked this to see if this even works. But this is for the laptop. Back to what I was saying. I wanted to test this, and I was like, oh, just do the video of testing it. We have everything over here. We set this area up just to do testing of video cards and, you know, computers and whatever. This is the area I dedicated just for recording video, so I might as well use it instead of just use it as a workstation. Bought all this stuff for this. Okay, so, and you've seen the Logitech, and then this is the other one. This is a 560 EVGA 560. The only thing is it's only the 1 gig model. I guess that's why I always like the 550 Ti, because when the first one, well, yeah, when I got back into gaming, the second video card, true video card I got was well, no, I can't even remember if it was an AMD card or not, but the first video card that I can remember when I played WoW was an EVGA 550 Ti, but it was the Best Buy exclusive model, and it had 2 gigs of RAM, 2 gigs of VRAM, and it's supposed to have a little bit higher clock speed. So in some of my tests I did, it actually outperformed one of these, especially in games that needed more VRAM. It outperformed the 560 because of higher out of the box. Obviously you can overclock this and it would outperform that 550 Ti I had. But out of box, the 550 Ti with 2 gigs of VRAM outperformed a 560. I don't know if I just got a really good card or what, but without doing anything tweaking with the cards themselves, it outperformed. So what we're going to do is put this in here. I need to unplug this first because this doesn't have a power switch. I went ahead, moved the drivers over, and so I don't have to go online to check this. But because obviously I want to check it with drivers too. But just pop this video card in, and I have 2 separate lines. I still have this other bracket in here. And the screw. So if this card works, I'm going to keep this video card in here because the only alternative I have for this system now, if I go to sell it, which I'm probably going to now that it's completely done and it's been tested long enough to see that it still works, is this 5450, the AMD 5450 1 gig video card, but it does give you outs. This board has no video out, so this motherboard, so you have to have a video card. So at least they go to put in a better video card, they would have this and they would know the system works. Then they could just keep this as a backup card just in case their card goes bad. But yes, go ahead and slap this card in here. It has 2 6 pins, which we have 2 different lines coming in. It's a 6 plus 2 and a 6 pin, and then this one's a 6 plus 2 and a 6 pin. I'm going to run both of them lines, see if we get an image when it boots up, and then we'll install the drivers and still see if we get an image or not. So like I said, we're going to use separate lines because this is like an 850 watt power supply, so there should be no issues with that. Close this down. I'm going to leave this open for I can see the fan. Replug it back in. Okay, I'm just really in a hurry to check to see if this video card works or not. Obviously it still could use a better video card than what's in it. I don't remember what even CPU this has. I think it has a i7 920. Let's check. So yeah, we have a 920. i7 920, that's how bad my memory is. And I put the original 9 gigs of RAM back in it, so every slot's full. You know, the 640 gig hard drive. I do not have. This drive is terrible. I tested it and it turned out good. But that doesn't mean anything. I had another drive that I was putting in a different computer. I fully tested that too, and it's like, yeah, everything's good and correct, you know, on that old Apple hard drive. And then I wipe it and set it up for the put Windows on it. And then after I installed Windows on it, I think I did an update on it. I can't remember if I did let Windows do some updates first and then shut it down and then restarted it. But it was booted in the Windows. The startup part was done where you name it and you get in the Windows. But then I restarted. So I think I got to the point where I let it do some updates, go to restart it, and then when I go to restart it, it's like didn't boot into Windows at all. It's like, not that it booted in the Windows and said it needs to repair or something like that. It just didn't boot in the Windows at all anymore. And then the hard drive just didn't show up anymore. It's like, so it went from a good tested drive to not working and not even showing up in a computer at all. So I don't know what happened. Yeah, that's it. You always need to put the drivers on. Just because you get an image with the video card doesn't mean that video card is good. I have gotten tons of cards in the past that I put in systems, and you quickly test like this right here to see if you get an image or not. Once you put the drivers in, the system just starts to blue screen. You can see I don't have it down here. I put it in my mom's. My mom gave me a little closet of hers to store some of my older video cards and stuff in. So like, I think it was a 280. Yeah, a 280. I had had that Nvidia 280 that died right as I was recording it. You know, when it was running through the benchmarks. Well, that card now, if you put it in a system, it kind of works until you put the drivers in it. Then it will blue screen. It would do that like 2 or 3 times, and then Windows would just deactivate it. But then you can still get in the Windows and use, you can still use the computer. It just says the card is something wrong with the drivers, and you're just basically running off of the same graphics that, you know, the drivers that are in it now, you know, default from Windows. And you know, the drivers that just give you enough it gets your video card working just enough so you can do this part here, so you can install drivers. So I do custom, because it's an older card. There's no reason for GeForce Experience to be on here. It ain't like it's going to get any more updates. You can't record your videos with this card. It won't optimize with this card. So to me, there's no benefit for me to have GeForce Experience on an older card like that. So I take that off and I leave everything else on here. Yeah, you see if it still works, because I think this would be a halfway decent card for this system. Yeah, it's like I said, it's still, you could go with a way better video card, but you know, my goal is on this system to at least make my money back on it. Long time. Hopefully these lights ain't too bright for you, right? Yeah, they don't look too bright. What did I just do with it? Oh, yeah. So the other Dell I have that came from Goodwill on the bundle, that thing is still working really nice. I just got done cleaning it up. I didn't do before and afters. I forgot to do that. But yeah, I just did a light cleaning so far because that computer's going to be pretty cheap. I'm just going to try to make something off it to get rid of. The main thing I wanted was that HP that had a liquid cooler that I ended up putting in a white case. It looks really nice. But that Dell, I got a huge performance gain in it. I didn't think so I ran, you know, my normal test, Cinebench R23 on it. And it, you know, I need to do a better job of writing this down. There's this piece of paper, right? But when I first tested the system, what I did was I just ran it straight out for the little bit more than 10 minutes. Move this cursor. I ran it for you know, the whole test, which came to more than 10 minutes. So the score out of that, which it has an i5 4690, I end up getting 3,197. So I was like, that's kind of low. So I took I have this little portable pink fan. No, I think it has like maybe it's like a 90 mil blade or 80 something. It's like this round. Takes a, you know, 18650 battery in it, so it charges. You can swap them out, and it has a charger built into it, so you just plug it in. But when I ran that just facing down into the system, I did that because I was testing to see if I could get better performance out of the 5450, since this doesn't, because I put this in there real quick to test this again to see what this card or the 610 is better. Obviously the 610 is better than this 580. Oh my, it'd be nice if there's a small 580, but this 5450, I was like, maybe I can get a higher benchmark off of this by now we'll do a restart on this since the drivers are in there. I was like, maybe if I run a fan on here, I'll run at least better airflow. So I set the fan kind of down like this toward the car and that. So it obviously didn't help. It helped temperature wise. This thing was running in the 70s, almost 80 C, running Unigine heaven. I cut it down to like 30 C, just running a light fan over it. So I was like, let's run this. Let's run Cinebench again with this fan on it. So the original. So then after putting the fan on it, no thermal paste, no cleaning the heatsink, I got a 3,377. So I was like, oh, that's a huge jump. So I pulled the heatsink off, cleaned it up, cleaned the fan up, added fresh thermal paste to it. So then I retested it again without the little pink fan facing down, just straight out the system itself. I ended up getting a 3,396. So like I said, before the new thermal paste and the heatsink being cleaned, it only got a 3,197. After applying and cleaning the heatsink, I got a 3,396. That's a 199 point difference. So it isn't like margin of error. That is, it increased the performance a good amount, you know. Doesn't seem like very much, but just by adding new thermal paste and cleaning the original heatsink, you know, we got 199 score difference. Like, that's a score difference like if you overclock something. But we didn't overclock it. It just cleaned in it. I never seen a performance gain like that. Most of the time, it's about the same. And only thing different is the fan. The fan will be quieter. You know what I mean? So instead of the fan ramping up higher to keep the CPU cooler, it just makes it quieter. You still get the same score, but the temperature is the same. So everything seems to work. Just let this load. I think the graphics for this it's not intensive, but it does its job. Let's even check and see. It seems like it's up, and we're not getting any artifacts. Device. Let's see if it's up or not. because Task Manager won't show this video card. It's too old. Oh, it's actually showing it in the device manager, so we actually are showing up. Now I got that other driver still. It's not. So we do have a Nvidia GTX 560. It's a 1 gig video card showing up in there. I couldn't believe that. Huh. So yeah, we're showing up here. So I'm gonna eat, and then I'm gonna come back and install Unigine Heaven on this system. Then we're going to benchmark it to actually see if the card is fully working, and we're not going to get any artifacting. So we'll be right back after I eat. Okay, here we go. I went ahead. I didn't do the Windows updates like I said I was going to. I forgot all about it, but I installed, Heaven benchmark, ran the whole thing. This is the 560 1 gig video card. Ran the whole test, no artifacting. Everything looks to be good. You can see the FPS. Well, you probably can't see the FPS. We got, for FPS wise, we got 78.0, a score of 1,964. Minimum FPS was 14.1, max FPS was 127.5. The max temperature I see out of this is 77C. Obviously, I will take the card out, take it apart, fully clean the heatsink, and apply new thermal paste to it. So yeah, it seems like this card's working perfectly fine. The next video that you will see of this trade will be me, going over that laptop. Everything seems good to me. I don't think the temperature is going to really affect the numbers. I don't think we're going to get a higher benchmark score, so I'm not going to rerun it after putting new thermal paste on it, cleaning the heatsink and stuff. But yeah, the system's done. When I finally go to I go to list this as out, I think this is a pretty good pairing for this. Older games will run on the system. Yeah, someone could put a better video card in it. They could put, instead of the 4 cores, 8-thread CPU, they could put that 6-core, 12-thread CPU in it. Instead of the 9 gigs of RAM, which we have all DIMM slots filled, they can go with the 24 gigs of RAM and have all DIMM slots filled, so they can still be running a quad channel, right? But otherwise, I think the system's good enough right now to go ahead and list and sell, because it's fully cleaned. I've been having the system on, and it's been working flawlessly. The temperatures are staying cool. Besides the only thing I really need to do, like I said, is to pull this card apart, clean it up, add new thermal paste to it, and then it's good to go. I'll probably list this for pretty cheap. I don't know what price yet. I need to look up, see what these are actually going for. And yeah, that's going to be the end of this video. I'm going to say my normal thing I say. Have a good night, evening, or whatever. Leave all your comments below.